Hello and welcome to the last team preview for Worlds 2024, where we're covering FlyQuest, the number one seed in the LCS. Last time they went to Worlds was in 2020, where they would drop out in group stage. That group is very memorable to me because that group had both DRX, Top Esports, so we had Chovy and Knight matchups at that time, as well as Unicorns of Love, which were going on a great run from Russia, and No Man's Kassadin really sticking out as one of those plays that I'll probably never forget in Worlds history for myself. This roster has changed since MSI. They swapped out mids, Jensen out, Quad in. Personally, I don't think that made a difference to the chances of this team making it this far. Quad being a Korean import, Cassiopeia one trick and solo queue, having limited experience in Korea prior to this season. I don't believe he was technically a rookie because he played so many games in the LCK. Um, though many people don't know who he is because they don't, pay attention to other regions, and then just, that is what it is. But this team, there's some bright spots. The bad side of the rift, we said after MSI, after they lost to PSG, in part due to really just disrespecting PSG, that they need to grow. This bot lane duo needs to grow, and it's clear in their stats from MSI that they needed to do it. So hopefully that happens here. Now in top lane we have Bwipo, 2 KDA, 8 CS per minute, and a 59 KP in LCS championship, whatever they want to call it, summer playoffs pretty much. This team does fight around each other. We covered T1 yesterday, and it was the opposite. A lot of 60% in the kill participation. And on this squad, it is a bunch of 70%. So this is a team that fights together. Bwipo may be in a side lane a bit. That's why he's around 60%. But for the most part, it's a four-man group, if not five. 1.29 damage divided by gold. 21% of the team's damage, 22% of the gold. High gold share for a top laner, but then again, he is playing various champions. Bwipo is one of those players that is willing to do a lot of different things in his role, and I do respect that. 2.79 vision efficiency, which is vision score divided by wards placed. On average, was quite ahead of his LCS counterparts. 250 gold, 12 CS, and 130 XP. 5 solo kills, 9 champions, 20 games. We do have to also think about, though, 12 CS lead only turning into about a 256 gold lead. You'd like more gold out of that, so evidently other players are finding a way to get gold, to offset the CS difference. 28 and 32 over his career. I did not include his jungler stats, except for win-loss and the fact that he did go to Worlds as a jungler, and the result from that. But in terms of stats, it didn't include CS and things like that because junglers just simply, don't have the same stats as the top laner. 1.6 KDA, 8 CS per minute, 59.4 KP, 1.26 damage divided by gold. Worlds 2018, runner-up with Fnatic, 19 and 20 quarterfinals. In 2021, out in group stage. Bwipo is going to come into this event and be a wild card for sure. He's not like Impact. Impact is not a wild card. He's very consistent, and you know what you're going to get. Bwipo may give you performances that are better than Impact, and also give you performances that are worse. And that's his. Bwipo could probably stand his ground against some of the middle of the road Eastern top laners. You're looking at a guy like Breathe or Kingen for that matter. Those 4 seed. Well, I guess DK not a 4 seed, but you catch my drift. That he can compete with those guys, but also in his face off and probably lose lane hard to them because that's the two sides of the coin with Bwipo. Inspired in the jungle, I say it all the time. I think he's one of the best Western junglers. Was in the conversation for me for MVP in both splits. I don't recall if I did I outright pick an MVP for LCS Summer? I don't know if I did in that video or not where I did the All Pros. But either way, I know people had impact in that role and I didn't, but whatever. 4.1 KDA, 6.1 CS per minute, and a 77.5 KP, so the highest on the team. Inspired is involved in more than 3 out of every 4 kills, almost 4 out of every 5. Things run through him, and in part, that's why he'd be MVP in my book. He's the one that's most involved. 0.9 return on investment. I've said this as this has went along, but now it's growing. There aren't as few of teams with low damage divided by golds as I thought. Like, there are a handful or more that do have sub 1 ROIs in the jungle. So evidently that was not a rarity for Mad Lions Koi, as FlyQuest also joins them in playing more facilitator meta in the playoffs as far as jungling is concerned. 12.7 damage share, 18.4 gold share. That's evident in the damage share. Very low, under 13%. There are some junglers at this event with 20% of the team's damage. 4.85 vision efficiency, best on the team. Ahead 37 gold, 4 CS, 140 XP, which is good though, because he's playing facilitator and is not behind at 15 minutes. 10 champions in 20 games. Internationally, he's 24 and 34. 2.8 KDA, 6 CS per minute, 71.5 KP, 0.92 damage divided by gold. Worlds 2020, 2021, and 2022 out in group stage with Rogue and then EG. Mid laner quad, like I said, Cassiopeia OTP, has played with DRX in the past in Korea. Now is getting an opportunity with FlyQuest after playing in Academy during spring. He's all right. I'm not a big quad guy. It's one of those deals we saw Mask do pretty well when he came over into Immortals, and people are going to look at the win-loss record and say, how can you compare these two? And I'm like, I think if you put Mask on FlyQuest, they just are doing the same thing. I don't think it takes an exceptional import to be an upper half mid laner in the LCS. So that's a thing. Going into this event, there's a reason why Quad is not in the LCK. So, it's one of those deals at this event. I think that a lot of people are talking real highly about this team, and I had some high hopes for this team at MSI, and then they, disrespected PSG and lost. Whether they learned from that or not remains to be seen. The addition of Mithy and the coaching staff. Mithy is back at Worlds. All those Cloud9 guys that, said that Mithy was the problem, and look who's here and who's not. I mean, there's no accountability on that front either. But either way, maybe Mithy is will keep them on track. I don't know. 4.9 KDA, 9.2 CS per minute, 71.4 KP, pretty involved. Good KDA. 1.87 damage divided by gold, best on the team. 33% of the team's damage. He may have the highest damage share of anybody at this event. That I am noticing right now. I knew it was high and he was the carry, but really thinking about it, I don't think there's many people. There might be one other person above 32% at this event, and he's 32.9. So Quad coming in as the hardest carry in terms of damage. Highest gold share, 23.7%, 2.48 vision efficiency. Barely ahead at 15 minutes, which is a concern. 40 gold, down 47 XP. You'd like him to be ahead farther against LCS mids. Jojo Pune and Quid, I guess, is better than Quad, so that is a thing. But you'd like Quad to be ahead domestically when we look at these stats. 3 solo kills, 7 champions, 20 games. No international experience, only player on the team without any. 80 carry Masu, definitely should be considered in the Rookie of the Year thoughts for the LCS. Great KDA, 6.8, 9.1 CS per minute, and a 73.4 KP. So 3 out of every 4 kills Masu is involved in for the team. That's very active. 1.54 damage divided by gold, 27% of the team's damage, 23.3% of the gold. He is the secondary carry on the team, clearly. 3.11 vision efficiency. We're going to combine he and Busio's 15-minute stats and discuss them. 4 solo kills, 9 champions, 20 games. Internationally, 2 and 5. 1.8 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute. And 51.8 KP, 1.68 damage divided by gold. 51.8 KP. Let's just think about that as we go on to Busio for a second. Busio, in my opinion, Busio has the potential to be the best Western support. He has the potential. It doesn't mean he is that now, but he has the willingness to play a lot of different things in the support role that personally I think is a difference maker as far as looking at these players and comparing them. And as he develops and continues to get better, he just has that. He has that factor that I think that could make him be the best. So it's just a matter of unlocking that and getting more experience. Hopefully, at this event, FlyQuest continues to grow and does show improvement. 2.7 KDA, 70.7 KP, zero point 0.7 damage divided by gold, 1.88 vision efficiency. Concerning part, when we combine this bot lane duo, they're behind 250 gold, 3 CS, and had about 70 XP at 15 minutes. And you're going to say, but that's pretty much even. Yes, but we don't want to go even domestically as an LCS team when we go to an international event. When you have to go play Light and Crisp, or you have to play Aiming Moham, or you have to play Gala Hung, like, hell, Guma Carrier again. And we saw how T1 played into FlyQuest last time. So it's like, gotta be better in the first 50 minutes. You cannot. I had somebody talking to me about Team Liquid. I mean, someone commented about Team Liquid T1, MSI, and then EWC, but EWC is meaningless to me. So I look at MSI, and they're like, yeah, well, TL could have won all 3 games. They could have swept them 3-0, depending on this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, they're going even in gold with T1 going into the final, the important fight in the game, right? You have when you play against an Eastern team, or you're playing against a team that may just say, hey, we're fine with taking a slight gold lead, you can take the Drakes, because honestly, it's not a big deal. At 20 minutes, we're going to have our fight, and that's going to decide the game. If you do not have a lead or an advantage in items that's significant enough to offset the hands difference that will occur during that team fight, you're screwed. So, in my opinion, you're going even into that team fight. I don't think it's 50-50. I don't think that's a 50-50 fight. Maybe 70-30 in favor of the better team, maybe. But, that's not a 50-50 fight. So, the fact of the matter is, you can't go even going in there. You have to have a lead. You have to have a lead in itemization. You have to have a lead in gold, in my opinion. Used gold, not just gold in general, but actual gold shown in items. Now, so how does that relate to FlyQuest? You need to be ahead of 15 minutes. You can't be behind against an Eastern team. They're going to beat you in those fights more often than not. So that's a thing. Internationally, Busio 9 champions 20 games. Busio's 2-5 over his career internationally. 0.8 KDA, did die a lot. I think he averaged almost 5 deaths a game at MSI. 48.8 KP. So the KPs, excuse me, damn. At MSI, Masu Busio were not involved. I mean, you're talking about a bot lane duo with only 50% KP. That's like, you're on an island bot lane duo. You are not involved at all. Relative to bot lane duos, that is not involved. It is something really to think about. Nuke Duck's 2-5 over his career as a head coach. Internationally, did go to Worlds 2014 as a player, but internationally he has not coached at Worlds, and at MSI he went 2-5. So that's a thing. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.